Was Manchester City manager right there, Pep Guardiola, talking about his players, especially Alvarez, who got a brace in that one. And for Erling Haaland, yes, he didn't get on the score sheet, but of course he provided an assist for Alvarez to get on the score sheet with his brace right there. All right, moving on, let's talk about the Champions League. And this time around, bringing a guest, Opeoluwa Adebari, who is a strong Arsenal fan. And the first question is, would you really want Pep Guardiola to be your coach right now, knowing what he has done for Manchester City?
Of course, definitely. He's got the experience. You know, he's won it before, not only with Manchester City, but also with Barcelona. So he knows what it takes to get the victory done. But I'm very much pleased with Mikel Arteta. He's been doing a fantastic job so far. And honestly, it can only get better. All
right, we'll get to talk about Mikel Arteta in a couple of minutes. But let's look at what happened yesterday. Starting off with Newcastle United versus AC Milan. Newcastle United back in the Champions League, and they earned a point against AC Milan away from home. What do you make of that game? A good one for Newcastle?
Definitely a very, very important point. It's good not to start a Champions League campaign with a defeat. And, you know, the start said it all. AC Milan did dominate, but Newcastle were able to hold their own. They've got a fantastic goalkeeper in Nick Pope. They've got a solid back four as well, who have caused a lot of teams frustration since last season. But they will definitely need to do better when it comes to scoring goals. I think Eddie Howe is yet to find the perfect balance in attack. Sometimes he starts games with only Alexander Isak. He doesn't get the goals. Callum Wilson comes on and then scores the goals. And sometimes it's the opposite. So I think Eddie Howe needs to know, is he going to play with the two strikers? Is he going to change with 4-4-2? Or maybe play the two strikers together with another forward who is able to complement both of them, you know, and maybe give them less defensive work to do when they're off the ball. So, but then again, it's a good start for them, and you expect them to pick up and learn from the games they played so far.
All right, before we get to today's fixture, let's look at Pep Guardiola. He said that winning the Champions League, or rather defending the title, will be an easy one. What do you make of that announcement from him?
Well, Pep is the master of mind games. So if he did say that it's going to be easy, I mean, I'm thinking two things. Either he said that to pose a challenge to other top clubs in the competition, or simply he does mean it and he wants to maintain the Champions League. And I mean, if he does mean it, that's a huge statement by him, very, very affirmative. But then he's very confident in his squad. A couple of players have left from last season, talking about the likes of Riyad Mahrez and Ilkay Gundogan, and then see the caliber of players that have come into the club. I'm talking about Mateo Kovacic, a former Champions League winner. I'm talking about Mateo Nunes, who is a very, very promising central midfielder who can do wonders for them. And obviously, Jeremy Njoku, the exciting winger from Belgium. So they've added good players into their squad. Pep is always, he has always subscribed to the philosophy of, you know what, once you've won already, you need to refresh the squad with players who are going to be more hungry and players who are going to be determined to do great things. And I think with this crop of players and with the way he motivates his players with his speeches and his obsession with the game, he can definitely maintain the Champions League title.
All right, talking about maintaining the Champions League title, one club is back in the Champions League, and it is that jersey you're wearing, Arsenal. They are back in the Champions League, and the fans are excited. They're also looking forward to their first game against PSG Eindhoven. Firstly, as an Arsenal fan, how does this feel for you? And playing against PSG, of course, a tough task.
First of all, it's exciting to be back in the Champions League. As you can see, I'm wearing my Champions League jersey. I'm ready for the game.
Okay.
Definitely, all Arsenal fans are ready for it. They've been excited. It's been 6 years since we've been out of the competition. And I think being one of the most illustrious clubs in the history of English football, we were away from the competition for way too long. But then it's good to be back. But then when we get down into details, a couple of boys have never played in the Champions League before. From yesterday's training session, you could see players like Declan Rice taking a look at the Champions League ball, you know, being in awe of it. And then you've got a lot of other young players who have never also played in the Champions League. I think only Mohamed Elneny, Alexander Zinchenko, and as well Gabriel Jesus, who have previous Champions League experience. But this Arsenal squad is very, very talented. They've got a talented manager as well. And you can see the way the team has transitioned over the years under Arteta. So it's going to be exciting times for Arsenal fans. But most importantly, I think what most football critics will be looking forward to is the lineup and the setup. Against Everton, there was no Gabriel Jesus from the start, no Kai Havertz from the start. But most importantly, it was David Raya in goal instead of Aaron Ramsey. Personally, I do believe that Ramsey will be back within the sticks today. I think he will be the starting goalkeeper for Arsenal in the Champions League games. And Arsenal will try, and as well as Arteta, to try and give as many games to David Raya, especially when it comes to certain games where they need to set up in maybe a peculiar tactical style. You could say against Everton, the back three was wider compared to normal because David Raya was able to push out and stay close to Saliba and ping those balls to Bukayo Saka and as well Leandro Trossard. Sadly, Arsenal will be without Gabriel Martinelli, but there's enough firepower to get the job done. Just like you said, last season, it was difficult against PSV. Arsenal got a victory at home at the Emirates, but lost 2-0 away at PSV Eindhoven. It's a very, very good team, formerly coached by Ruud van Nistelrooy. They've lost some key players in the likes of Xavi Simons and should I say Madueke, who has joined Chelsea, but they've also strengthened, replacing them with very, very technically gifted players. I'm talking about the likes of Noah Lang. They signed Amel Bella-Kotchap from Southampton as well. So they've replaced reasonably well. Even though they lost Ansangari, they were able to keep a hold of Johan Bakayoko. So it's not necessarily a totally different PSV squad. They've added quality, and they will certainly bring the game to Arsenal at the Emirates. But nonetheless, it's Arsenal's first time back in the Champions League. The Emirates is going to be buzzing. The fans have been fantastic since last season, and you expect nothing but 3 points from the Arsenal.
All right, I like you're very, very proud of your club, Arsenal, expecting all 3 points from that game. But before we go to the game between Man United and Bayern, let's hear from Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta.
Mixed emotion. I think it feels like yesterday, and in the same way, I think it feels like many more years ago. Yeah, obviously, we had some big situations to go through. We did it together. We did it in a really powerful way. I think as a club, I think with everybody that was involved in that process, and we always believed that we're going to reach there, you know. But something is to try to plan it and then to do it, and actually we've done it, and we don't want to stop here, that's for sure, and that's the aim, to continue to be better.
It feels good to be back for the Arsenal fans. Let's go straight to the game between Bayern and Manchester United. Man United have refused to agree that they are in a crisis, and for Erik ten Hag, he says, look, his team has quality enough to go up against Bayern Munich. What are your predictions, Okwe?
A stomping 5-0 victory to Bayern Munich. Wow. I don't see Manchester United getting a goal in this. Bayern under Thomas Tuchel have been extremely more technical. I'm not saying they've not had technical quality in the past, but I think Thomas Tuchel is a type of manager that pays attention to the fine details in games. That's why I said Bayern have been a bit more technical. And thankfully, they've finally got an out-and-out striker for the first time since the departure of Lewandowski, in the name of Harry Kane, who has been banging in goals. 4 goals in his 3 appearances so far in the league, and he's in good form as well. During the international break, he did score for England as well. So you know that's someone who's going to pose a threat to the United defense. And United without the likes of Varane, Wan-Bissaka, who is good at tracking players, because they have fast wingers in Bayern. I'm talking about the likes of Sane, Gnabry, Musiala, as the case may be. So definitely, Man United are going to be. It's going to be a very, very huge task. And I don't see them even scoring a goal, despite the attacking threats of Rashford and Højlund. It's going to be difficult for them because Bayern will win the game in the middle of the park. And trust me, with the lethal striker in Harry Kane, they will punish Manchester United with goals.
All right, we look forward to that game between Bayern Munich and Manchester United. But thank you very much, Adebari, for joining us today. And we look forward to Arsenal's game as well. Wishing you all the best and 3 points.
Thank you very much, Udoka. Hopefully, I'll be back here with 3 points at the bag.
It's all right. We look forward to that one as well.